All right, greetings, Christian friends, saints, those that are still leaning toward the Lord for things. Thank God for coming again. You're hearing, thank those who are tuned in on YouTube and various internets. Greet you in the name of our Lord. So thankful to come again. And we were working on some things the last meeting. Like I say, one thing about scripture is not a thing where you can just, say you read one chapter, read two chapters, anything like that. But that's when it comes down to studying, it's work. Well, number one, it's work. It's not like any other book you probably have read, things when you're in school, universities and things like that. When you read a novel and stuff, it's not like that when it comes down to the scriptures, because one of the scriptures says that they're divinely inspired. So the Lord has got it worked out to where you got to labor in the word and doctrine. And that's how, and then you still have to rely on the Lord, wait on His Spirit to open your understanding that you might understand the scriptures. And we give an example. We're going to start out today, starting out in the 8th chapter of Acts, and we get an example of just how these scriptures are. A lot of times people think it's just some book that a lot of people are still wrestling with the fact that they're saying that man wrote the Bible and all this. People are still wrestling and hung up on that.
Yes, sir.
And that's sad, because it really hinders you. We ain't going to know everything down here as what the scriptures declares in 1 Corinthians 13. Everybody knows the love chapter, charity. King James said charity, but the scripture said we know in part, we prophesy in part.
Yes, sir.
And then it said, then when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. So right now we're still in part.
Come on.
We only know in part right now, see. But we do know what's written is for us and for our children. And anybody that's coming along, these things are written down. We have to wait on God, wait to open our understanding that we might understand the scriptures. And a lot of times you might have to go through some things. But when you do get a hold to it, you got to grab it and keep the things and not let them go, because they can get away from you just as much as you received it. Things can happen, you can go through some trials and tribulation.
Absolutely.
Things can get away from you, like the scripture said in Hebrews 2 about, give the more earnest heed to the things we have heard, lest at any time we let them slip. See? And that can happen. That means that anybody can fit that description. So we thank the Lord for the words. Thank God for revealing, getting down to the true name of the Lord's name that's been reserved. The Lord is restoring His name throughout the land. Thank the Lord for that. We thank the Lord for being able to get the scripture like we've been talking the last few weeks about. You can get Bibles now where the Lord's name, places, and of the Hebrews things are restored. The names of the disciples, prophets, peoples of the Lord, the names are restored. You can get Bibles now. One of them is called a Sefer Bible.
Yes, sir.
Which means book. That's Hebrew transliteration for book. You can get that at www.sefer.net. And when you go in there, you can order online. I think the publishing company is in Montana somewhere. But the Lord has worked it out where you can get the Bibles at your disposal. You can get it. So there's no reason for anybody not knowing the truth about the matter. Another one we call the Hallelujah Scriptures is another one. I think that publishing company's in up north and somewhere around New Jersey, somewhere around that way. You can get that. And these, like I said, the names of the Lord are restored, the Son's name is restored, the original Hebrew, because we always say the Hebrews, the Lord came to the nation of the Israelites the Israelites were Hebrews, right? So if he was born through the nation between Miriam and Joseph, and those are his parents, so it was thought of like Scripture Luke tells us in the second chapter of Luke, it tells us. So it was thought of because he was divine. It was a divine birth. But the Scriptures says so it was thought of. He was the son of Joseph, which means that's the Hebrew translation for Joseph. All right, so we're going to work on some things here in Acts, and then we're going to go back to what we was working on in the last meeting. The Hebrew transliteration for Jeremiah would be Yermi Yahu. That's what the name is. And that reveals that the Lord's name is revealed in the name of that prophet. So you see the Lord's name is a contracted form of the Lord's name, Yahu.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, so like I said, it's time for people to wake up and go get to the truth of the matter. There's no reason nowadays why anybody should be left out in the cold as far as seeking the Lord and everything.
Right.
Because the Lord made it possible. As before, some years back, you probably had to go through great lengths to try to get a hold of some of this material. But the Lord has made it available now where anybody can get it. You really don't have to pay that much. It's a little small fee. So they just want to make sure people are getting the truth about it. So we had talked about a while back about a lot of these empires, about the damage that was done to the Israelites.
Oh, yeah.
And in Jerusalem and everything else. So we had talked about that. So we're going to go right into the scriptures here, coming out of Acts, I think the 8th chapter. And this is a case where the eunuch was worshiping in Jerusalem, was returning back. He was, scriptures declare that he was the queen's treasurer under Candace of the Ethiopians. So in this case here is an example. We always like to use this because it starts out, we're coming out of the King James. That, like I said, we're not knocking anything. We're not going to condemn anybody. You still want to go with what you know, but we just letting you know that there are more things available to where you can really research these things and get to right understanding of what was really intended. So we're not coming to condemn anybody.
Come on.
I grew up in a Methodist church, very traditional, so we're not knocking that. What we are letting you know that these things are available and you can really research the thing and get down to the heart of the matter as far as about the Lord's name and the Son's name and all that. So we're not coming to knock anybody over the head. We still got the King James, but we also have the Sefer Bible, which is in depth. It's got the restored books.
Yes,
I always say.
Oh, yeah.
We have the books that were removed during the canonization process back in the days of Constantine the Emperor.
Yes, sir.
Which they had these different councils. One of the topics that was discussed, one of the subjects to discuss was, what scriptures they considered to be inspired and what was considered not to be inspired, which I don't think that's up to any individual to make that determination. So, but that's what happened anyway. So a lot of the books that weren't really included, and from what I understand, the original old King James had a lot of had the Maccabees books and some other books that the original King James, the one that like right around 1611 or so around there, actually had what they call the apocryphal books in there. So
Oh, yeah.
actually had it in there. So then the later translation came where they removed those out, those certain books. But we have those. We have Sefer Bible reveals the prophet Enoch, which was one of the strongest prophets at that time, that day.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a lot to say, but the Lord moved on him to say. So that's what we're saying. We have these things available. So we have the King James, we got the Hallelujah Scriptures, we got the Sefer Bible, we got all this material. So, and it's quite extensive. So we have it, and we're letting you know that it's available to anybody to get. So you're not going to be just stuck in one version.
Yeah, exactly.
We let you know that these books are available and you can get the truth of the matter. So like I said, we didn't come to condemn. Like, that's not what we're about. But we're going to work on some things and give you an example of how the scriptures are. So here is in the coming out of the King James, those of you that are reading in this 8th chapter of Acts, it says, verse 20, let me see, I can first start at 27, actually 26, verse 26. In the 8th chapter of Acts, we're coming down, show you an example of how the scriptures are. All right?
And the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip, saying, Arise, and go toward the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem unto Gaza, which is desert.
All right, so here, this is the example. A lot of times people just think, let me see if I can come up and find the scripture book, because it's in Psalms, and it's talking about, let me see if I can find this. I think I want to give an example of how the scriptures is, because a lot of times you see in verse 26 was just read, and I'm hearing about the angel of the Lord. Most people just think it's talking about just an angel, see, but in this case, you got to find out which angel was this. See, that's why I say most people might overlook this stuff, but the scriptures got to be explained. So he said, the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip. Yeah, most people just, in their own intellect and understanding, say, well, it was just an angel. Okay, but see, when we search the scriptures out, I'm going to see if I can find this without taking up too much time. I think it's in Psalms, what says 111, might not be 111, but
Was it 91, 11 verse?
what is it?
For he shall give his angel charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. I thought we not there. Okay.
This is the one that says, well, I can tell you what it says. I'm going to find it later, but in Psalms it says, the angel of the Lord encamps around about them that fear him. So it says the angel. And then Isaiah 63, we can hold a place in the Acts and go to Isaiah right fast. And then Isaiah 63, we find out, like I said, this is why I say it's work. And that's why I say we can't be in too much of a hurry. We're working on some things in Jeremiah. We're going to continue on that this evening. But we want to just bring a point out that most people will probably overlook stuff, but you gotta, this thing is spread out throughout the scriptures. So if you want to know, then you got to search it out, because the Lord says, search the scriptures. And that's what he meant. You got to go to work in this thing, because a lot of times, most things people will overlook. But Isaiah 63 and verse 9, what is it? And this will give you an example of what we're talking about.
In all their affliction he was afflicted, and the angel of his presence saved them. In his love and in his pity he redeemed them, and he bare them and carried them all the days of old.
All right, so here it's talking about the believers in this time, that dispensation, we're talking about those that came out under the hand of Moses and Aaron, right? So here is showing who did the saving. In this case, the angel represented God's presence, because we give an example. And let's go, we're skipping over. This is why I say the scripture said the word of the Lord is line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we're doing. That's why I said, man, why are they skipping around? This is the way the scriptures are. So you ain't going to find it all in one book.
Come on.
See, what we're talking about, Isaiah 63:9, and people are still wrestling with that. Then we'll get Genesis 50, and we're talking about Jacob, or Yaakov will be the Hebrew transliteration, Yaakov. And he said in the 50th, I think it's the 50th chapter, let's see if I can find this. It might not be 50, let me jump back. I think it's, let me jump back to 31 here for a second. I think it's in 31, somewhere around there, where Jacob had testified. I had to look some of this stuff up. All right, so we're gonna take up too much time, but this was a case where Jacob declared that God was that angel. I may have to look this up. Hold on one second. I might be able to find this right quick. Let's see. So quickly. What we're getting at is we're showing you how scriptures will explain themselves. It's just a matter of you got to find, you got to search it out.
That's right.
And what we're talking about, just trying to prove points. And we started out in the book of Acts, and we're already in Genesis already, so it shows how you gotta skip around. And you ain't gonna get this stuff overnight. So this is like, we're talking about years of studying. All right, so all right, here's look at Genesis 48, verse 16 is an example of what we're talking about. And 48:16, what is it?
48:16 says, "The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into the multitude in the midst of the earth."
All right, so this is Jacob when he was blessing his sons, right? This example, we almost had it. I thought it was Genesis 50, but it's Genesis 48:16. And here is where in verse 15 it says, Jacob, Yaakov, either Hebrew transliteration, he blessed Joseph or Yosef, said God, before this verse 15, God before whom my fathers Abraham, Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life, long unto thee this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil. All right, so here we go. So we're not just talking about, so we go back to Acts, the 8th chapter where we read, it said the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip. So this was not just, you got to figure out, you got to search it out. Which angel is he talking about? Is he talking about Gabriel or one of those, the Archangel Michael? Or but then you got to know which angel it is. So Jacob had the understanding and said, the angel which delivered me from all evil, redeemed me from all evil. The angel is a capital A. So we're talking about God, the Most High, Yahuwah. Right? So in Isaiah 63 said, the angel of his presence saved him.
That's right. So
we going back here, come back to Acts 8. So then we get understanding. Light is put on this scripture that it's not talking about any other angel, any ordinary angel. This is God's presence.
Amen.
The angel, even Paul had said the same thing. And I believe that's Acts 27. We give you another example of what we're talking about. This is just an example of how the scriptures are. So there's nothing to be taken. Most people just kind of breeze over stuff. We're just showing you how the scriptures are. And here's Paul, right, when he was doing his travels, in this case, they were getting ready to set sail, if I'm mistaken. So in 27 and all right, here we go. So it says, this is starting verse 21 in Acts 27. So it says, Paul was, if I'm mistaken, he's talking to the, okay, go ahead, we go down to verse 21.
"But after long abstinence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them, and said, Sirs, ye shall have hearkened unto me, and not have loosed from Crete, and to have gained this harm and loss. And now I exhort you to be good cheer, for there should be no loss of any man's life among you, but of the ship.
All right. So here's an example where these cases, the people that were in the ships did not take the advice of the man of God. See, here is a prime example when people don't listen to what the Spirit of the Lord is saying through whoever he's saying it through. See, here's a prime example. He told them right there. See, a lot of times people just want to tune, they don't want God's advice, they want to go on their own understanding. Right. See, and then when trouble hits, then you want to start crying out. See, it don't work that way. Right. Because the Lord a lot of times will give you a heads up on certain things. We got to listen. That's why he said, today if you hear his voice, harden not your heart. See, that's saying, see, you can harden your heart toward the Spirit of the Lord. You can do it, and people do it all the time. See, not listen, and then calamity is coming, and then who gonna save you?
Thank you.
See, here, but in this case, the Lord was graceful and merciful, and he told him, he said, right there, he said he gained this, see, he said to have loosed from Crete and to have gained this harm, see. You know, some false prophet come along and say, oh, everything gonna be all right, everything gonna be all right, see. But then even what the man of God said here, he said, you have gained this harm. See, you bring this upon yourself, not listening to the Spirit of God. See, that's what happens. People don't want to listen to God and think they know more than the Lord.
Yes,
see, and then when the trouble comes, oh. All right, what do you say with it?
23. Yeah. For there stood by me this night the angel of God, whose I am, and who I serve.
See, here we go. See, the scripture said the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word is established.
Come on.
This is what we're talking about. We done got one testimony witness from Jacob, Yaakov, the Hebrew transliteration. We got another testimony from Philip, early in the early chapter of Acts. Scripture at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Then we get another testimony. He's testifying about who this angel is. And he said, I belong to this angel and whom I serve.
Come on. Whose I am.
See, that'll tell you right there, he wasn't just serving, see, he wasn't worshiping the angels, just regular angels. See, this wasn't no regular angel. This was God's presence, the angel.
Come on.
He said, the angel whose I am, I belong to him, and whom I serve. So this wasn't talking about, so he wasn't worshiping the host of heaven.
Come on.
He knew who this angel, we got to get the identity of who this angel is. And I might have to go back to Psalms because, all right, I'm going to find it right quick, but this is going along with what we're talking about. See, we give you an example, see how you got to labor in the word and doctrine.
There you go.
This angel was not just any ordinary angel. They had the understanding of who this angel was. All right, so here's in another case, David, by the Spirit, was speaking in the Psalms, and he came back with the same thing, the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. We get the testimony from David, Jacob, and Paul about this angel.
Come on.
That's the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Every word is established. So here it says, I'll find it right fast because we're going along what we're talking about. All right, this right here says, I got it right here almost. Okay. All right, Psalms 34, verse 7 is going along what we're talking about.
Amen.
All right, we found it. So we got the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses to find out who this angel is. See, that's work. A lot of people don't want to go through all that. It don't take all that. Yeah, it does take all that.
Yeah, it do.
If you want to get the right understanding, it does take all that.
Yeah, that's what we looked for earlier. Matter of fact, ready?
What is it?
The angel of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him, and delivered them.
All right, there we go. So the same thing that says, Jacob says in Genesis 48 said, the angel which redeemed me from all evil.
Come on.
This angel in Psalms 34:7 says, what did he say?
34:7 says, and the angel of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him, and delivered them.
All right, the delivering takes place from God. That's what he said in Isaiah 63. Said that the angel of his presence saved them or delivered them. See, the deliverance comes from the Most High.
Thank you.
This case, the angel was God's presence, very presence. So we get to understand. See, we ain't even got off of the 26th verse. We tended on working on some stuff here in Acts, and we done bounced around to find out who this angel is.
Come on, come on.
All right, where we leave off at in Acts?
In Acts
27.
verse 27. Chapter 8, verse 27, right?
Yeah.
Let me find it. Verse 27. And he arose and went and beheld a man of Ethiopia, and Enoch of great authority under Candace, queen of Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasure, and had come to Jerusalem for to worship, was returning and sitting in the chariot, read Esaias the prophet. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near and join thyself to this chariot.
All right, hold it right there. See, this is a further proof. Notice in verse 26, what we read earlier, it said, the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip. Then it goes down to verse 29 and say what?
Verse 29. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near to join thyself to his chariot.
All right, so we ain't talking about two different people. See, this is an example. See, the angel is God's Spirit.
Thank you.
That's who the angel of the Lord is. See, the angel, it wasn't some angel spoke to him and then some other spirit came to him. That's two different people. No, it's the same one. The angel that spake to Philip is the Holy Spirit.
Thank you.
See, we just proved that Isaiah 63:9 said the angel of his presence. So that angel was God's presence. It just gave you that. The Spirit said unto Philip.
Come on.
Just like the angel said unto Philip.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
And Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Esaias, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, How can I? Except some man show guide me. And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him.
All right, hold right there. So here, this is the example we're talking about. Here is the example where the Spirit of the Lord told Philip to go join himself to this chariot, where this particular Ethiopian said, a man of Ethiopia, and notice that there were Hebrews, Israelites, and things that were spread and scattered abroad, even in Ethiopia. So, because you weren't just no Gentile walking up into Jerusalem.
Exactly.
See, that shows you right that the Israelites were scattered abroad when the scattering took place. So in this case, he was coming, returning from Jerusalem, going back to Ethiopia. All right. So here is an example where the Lord told Philip to join himself here. And this, so Philip, the eunuch was working on some scriptures in Isaiah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So then Philip asked him to say, understand what you read. So this is the point we're talking about, where a lot of times people get too, proud or whatever and don't want to humble down and ask somebody something.
Right.
Right? So here's the thing where he was humble enough and said, he says, Philip said, understand this, what you read. See, this is where, people have to humble themselves down and realize and take some understanding and take advice from whoever the Lord. In this case, Philip was sent by the Lord to administer to this eunuch. And he was humble enough to receive what Philip was saying. So what he said in 32?
32. The place of the scripture which he read was this. He was led as a sheep to the slaughter, and like the lamb dumb before the shearer, so opened not his mouth, and his humiliation, his judgment was taken away. And who shall declare his generation? For his life is taken from the earth. And the eunuch answered Philip and said, I pray thee, of whom speakest the prophet this? Of himself or of someone other man?
All right, here we go. So here's the thing where he wasn't able to discern whether the prophet was speaking about himself or somebody else.
Right.
See, And this is what we're talking about, how the scriptures are. See, scriptures have to be explained, and interpretation comes from the Most High.
Amen.
Right, so this is what we're talking about. So here he's saying, well, and that's the case where, and that's why we're going to go back to Jeremiah now, because we're just bringing a point out. Right here, when you're looking at some of the scriptures, you think about a certain thing, or you might say, well, who is this Babel talking about? Is it talking about the Babylon back in Daniel's day, or what Babel is it talking about? See, that's where the Spirit of the Lord have to come in at, because we can't discern what Babylon is he talking about. See, this is what we were working on in the last meeting. We're going to go back to Jeremiah. See, and here's where this takes work, and this is what we're saying. We kind of bounced around on some of this yesterday, the last meeting. So here is an example where I think we started out in the beginning of the 50th chapter, verse 1. What is it? We get that in Jeremiah. Yirmiyahu would be the Hebrew transliteration. All right, so here's the thing where is an example, just like when the eunuch was reading some scriptures in the prophet Isaiah. We're reading from the prophet Jeremiah, and without God's Spirit, we're unable to discern what Babylon is it talking about.
Amen.
We're unable to discern. It's like, well, what Babylon? Is he talking about Daniel's Babylon? Obviously. And so this is the same dilemma where you'll run across if you're coming in here reading this stuff and you don't understand it. You're going to be just like the eunuch.
Yeah, exactly.
Reading, and you're going to be saying, well, what Babylon is they talking about? See, that's the question that's going to come up. See, then we got to be humble enough to receive, whoever the Lord may send our way. Amen. To bring light to a certain thing, because this right here is a parable for real.
Come on.
It's a parable that's got to be explained.
Amen.
So other than that, we're thinking it's the Babylon of the past, but then when you line this up with Revelation, it's the Babylon future.
Thank you. Exactly.
So what do you say in verse 1?
The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet.
All right, what do you say?
Declare ye all among the nations, and publish, and set up a standard, publish, and conceal not, say, Babylon is taken. Bel is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces.
All right, see, that right there, see, without God's Spirit,
Amen.
the angel of the Lord, so that's what the Lord open our understanding today, the angel of the Lord is needed right here to be able to break this down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, so here is example that look the name Merodach up in your Strong's Concordance, and it's going to give you the understanding that's talking about it was the Babylonian god of war. And that's what that name was. It's another name for Babylon. Because the Babylon, watch this, lining it up, the Babylon in Daniel's day were warlike people anyway, because they conquered. Matter of fact, they was the dominant empire at the time when the Israelites were taken captive. So they were a warlike people. So here it's saying Merodach is broken in pieces. It's basically saying it was a Babylonian god of war. So what it's talking about, we got to go to work and let the angel of the Lord break it down.
Yes, sir.
And line this stuff up.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be able to walk in understanding.
Yes, sir.
See, and know that this Babylon, what Babylon is it? So, see, this got to be lined up with the current empires of today. See, it's got to be lined up.
Yes, sir.
See, so here Merodach is talking about the god of war, the Babylonian god of war, is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. And this land, see, we got this way you got to go to work at. People don't want to look at what it is. Hollywood, all this stuff you got going on in this country. People, sports, you name it.
Yes, sir.
See, this is where you have to itemize stuff and just not leave it generic. See, because you can't just read and say, well, her idols. Well, what idols are we talking about? We got to start naming it.
Exactly.
These singers, bands, all these rock groups, this band, R&B, rap singers, idols. You got to start naming this stuff. Basketball, football,
Come on.
baseball,
Yes.
hockey,
Yep.
soccer. All these things are idols. See, and people are caught up in this stuff. So you have to start itemizing. Then you can't even Hollywood. Different cities. People idolize. You get into, matter of fact, they even got bold up and said American Idol. Goodness. See, look, back in the day, they would try to not use words that are mentioned in the scripture. They just coming out bold with the American Idol.
People are winning.
Yeah, that's right. See, you got to itemize this stuff, right? Said declare among the nations and publish, set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. See, something conceal meaning you have no understanding of it.
Come on.
He said, conceal not. See, we need the angel of the Lord to break it down, or otherwise the stuff will be concealed.
Yeah, exactly.
See, he said, conceal not. So that means it's open to be interpreted. He didn't say conceal it. Like when he told Daniel, he said, conceal the matter, shut the vision up until the time of the end. See, that's what he told Daniel. In this case, he said, conceal not. That means it's open, it's revealed. See, that's why he said, conceal not. Say. See, now here's what we still got to go to work at, because it says we got to find out what Babylon is he talking about.
Come on.
That Babylon is taken. And this is a prophecy, a foretelling of what's getting ready to go down.
Amen.
See, he said, Baal, see, that's the main god of the Babylonians, see. The main god, see. Merodach, it's talking about the god of war, is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images, see, there's a lot of images and stuff over here.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of stuff. People are idolizing. People are worshiping men, women, children. They're worshiping everything. Worshippers, images are set up. And what did he say in 3?
Verse 3. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast.
All right, so here is where you got to go to work with that. If you do some research about the Daniel's Babylon, you find out that Babylon was not laid desolate. It was taken over by the Medes and the Persians. All right, so this is where even Daniel himself, when he got those visions about some of those beasts and things, and he had to understand, he said, well, Babylon, he had got the vision about Babylon was going to be taken down, but it didn't happen in his day because in the case, you had the Medes, Darius the Mede and thing, they took the kingdom over, right? But it was not laid desolate as far as man and beast.
Come on.
See, so this was talking about a future prophecy. It wasn't fulfilled in Daniel's day, because you do the research, it wasn't a thing where it just made the land desolate. It wasn't desolate. It was taken over by the Medes and the Persians. And Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's son, everything, it was slain and everything, but the kingdom was not like what they're talking about here about they should remove and shall depart both man and beast. That didn't happen. So this leaves us another Babylon, a greater Babylon, a mystery Babylon that John, Yehukanan, the Hebrew translation, picked up on it and picked up where Jeremiah had left off.
That's right.
All right, so these 2 chapters are giving a detailed breakdown down of this judgment, of this what we were talking about the last meeting. So here we're going to skip down to all right, should skip down to 21 and see what this is talking about.
Ready? Mm-hmm. Go up against the lands of the Merathons, even against it, and against the inhabitant of Pekod, waste and utterly destroy after them, saith the Lord, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?
All right, here we go. See, so here they're giving some more symbolic names, and the Marathaim means double. So what are we talking about here? Watch this. We can go to skip over to Revelations. It says go over against the land of Marathaim, even against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod, and these are both synonymous names. Pekod means to be punished, right? So Marathaim, the answer to that would be, we go over to Revelations, I think is 18, Revelation 18. Right, and watch, and be given these symbolic names, but see, this proves that, all right, obviously everybody know that John's revelation, his prophecy, was way after Daniel, so Jeremiah and them was prophesying during Daniel's time, right? So it was done because when they said the Israelites disobeyed, and then they were going to be taken captive by the Babylonians, which happened in Daniel's day. But the thing is, John came along and still picked up on the prophecy about this mystery Babylon that we're still talking about, right? So obviously it's talking about a future Babylon. It wasn't talking about Daniel's Babylon, because that was Jeremiah's prophecy, was during that time. But here, so it says, it gives a symbolic name, go up against the land of Marathaim, even against it. So this is a symbolic name, and this is what it's talking about.
What do we mean?
We're going to right up, go up to, here it is right here. All right, Revelation 18 verse 6. Now this says, okay, verse 5.
Verse 5. Oof. Oh, that mercy. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled with her double.
All right, see, and that's what the term Marathaim means, double. So here it's talking about you getting double judgment. You're going to get 2 times the judgment that Babylon had dished out. All right, so that's what I say. That's what I say when we talk about searching the scriptures out.
Wow.
See? And this is what we're talking about. All right, so the term Marathaim, which is Jeremiah was prophesying about. And here's the example when you say line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Jeremiah, we'll go back. And here it's saying, let me see if I can find this, because we talked about this last meeting. It says, all right, when it says her sins have reached to heaven, all right, so let me see if I can find it, because it's actually mentioned. Yeah, so we go back to Jeremiah, because see if I can find this, because it's in there. It's exact, it lines up, line for line. All right, let's see here. All right, it is in here. We're gonna hasten on, but it's in here. It's actually in, I believe it's in the 50th chapter, because it says that her judgment reaches unto the skies. It's talking about reaching unto the heavens. We were the last meeting, I think we talked about that. All right, we're gonna hasten on anyway, but it is in here because we're gonna. Because it was telling the inhabitants to depart from her because her judgment reaches under heaven, and that's exactly what Revelation is talking about. Let me see here. So here it's saying what we just read in 21, Jeremiah 50. So the term "Pekod" means punishment, waste, and utterly destroy after them, said the Lord, and do according to all that I've commanded. So this is the Lord's will. So he said, do according to thy command. That's why I said, let's go skip back to Revelations and notice what this says in the 17th chapter of Revelations. John prophesied. All right, if this said, Jeremiah says that, he says, do according, the Lord said, do according to all that I've commanded thee. All right, so he's telling this nation to go up against Babylon. So, all right, so if you go back to Revelations 17, and this says, in verse 17, what is it?
Verse 17 says, for God had put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
All right, this is the Lord's doing, so that's at the mouth of